Good morning, guys. This photograph is from Pixabay, and I thought it might be a fun thing to do today. You can see I printed out the photograph, taped the image to the top of my watercolor paper, and then I used my graphite paper. Isn't that a professional looking piece? To trace the image onto my paper, my watercolor paper. Now you can use a pencil for this, but then you have pencil lines all over your image. So I buy these stylus. They're not expensive. And then when I trace over it, I don't have pencil lines. Let's get started. My first step is to wet the paper behind the leaves so that it's evenly damp. And then I'm starting with cerulean blue. This is a very light opaque blue, and it's going to fade a lot as it dries, but it gives me a good basis for the little circles. So I start with the real dark in the bottom right hand corner, and I leave the edge down there. I'm going to put some green down in that edge. Now, to get these little lighter circles, you could just lift up the whole thing, but I like to work wet and wet to try to get the soft edges. So I start with the cerulean blue because I can put the green on top of it, and then I just come back with more blue. I make them larger than I want to begin with, and then bring in more dark to make it a bit smaller. You notice I'm going right over the stem. That stem will be quite easy to lift up, and it would be a pain to try to paint around. So I think I have enough to do painting around all these little circles. A couple more with blue and a few with green. Now, it's really difficult to get a very dark wash when you're working wet and wet. But you can always give it another layer of color after this one dries. Just like my other washes, I started at the lower right corner, and then I'm working my way around. And now it's starting to get a little dry over here, so I have to either work faster or a little wetter. I've got a few brush strokes showing in the bottom left, but I think I'll dry this first, and then I'll come back and work on it. Now that it's dry, I can come back with the dark, and it will stay dark. Part of the appeal of this is the dark values against the light color of the leaf. I dried it again, and I'm using some really pretty colors. My yellow and my transparent Pyrrole orange. And then when I want it just a little darker, I add some Dioxazine Purple. It just makes a really easy blend for beautiful oranges, golds, and browns. And it's not at all muddy, like some of the browns. So this demonstration's going really fast, but it's kind of a quick little picture. And I hope if you guys are bored, you give it a try. Now for this leaf, I'm getting a good base of the yellow on, and then I'll come in with a little bit of the yellow and orange to make a gold. For the shadows, I'm adding a little bit of the, tiny bit of the Dioxazine Purple. And then I'm coming back to put my darker values in the other leaf areas. So I'm working light to dark. Now all these little circles dried a little bit lighter, so I'm going over them. I'm toning down the blue ones to push them back because they're a little too bright. They're competing with my leaf. And I'm putting some more green gold over the green ones. And I'm using a brush and clean water to reactivate the paint where I want the stem and lifting it up with the paper towel. Now that my yellow and orange washes are dry on this leaf, I can come in and get a little more color in there. Get my shadows in. I'm trying to be careful and not lose that wonderful yellow glow. I want a hint of the orange in there, so I'm putting it on with dry brush technique. So we did light colors, medium colors, and now I'm doing my darkest colors. And the very last thing, I'm going to take some opaque white and hit just a couple little highlights. And that's it. I hope you liked it. Thank you for watching.